This is Jim Williams with the Hurricane City Tropical Update for November 2nd, 6 p.m. Here's the animation using the HurTrack program of Tropical Storm Tomas, and the system is struggling this afternoon in the southern Caribbean Sea well south of Jamaica. Here's the animation of the forecast track from the National Hurricane Center showing this hanging a hard right-hand turn right before Jamaica. You notice it's passed through the Windward Islands, just north of the ABC Islands of Aruba, Bonaire, and Curaçao, and the system is now moving west and should make the turn very soon. If we zoom in on this, you'll see it closes in on Haiti Friday afternoon at 1 p.m. as a Category 1 hurricane, and then you'll see the forecast for early morning hours Saturday is when the worst conditions will be in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. And then, of course, that's where the major earthquake happened in January, and there's big concerns about the health issues and people living in tent cities. It's just going to be an absolute mess if this thing makes it into Haiti, but all indications are right now, looks like that's what's going to happen. I'll get to the models in just a minute. And you can see that the official forecast takes it into the eastern Bahamas, and they're not showing it in the official forecast, but there's several models that are indicating that this is going to get hung up in the Bahamas, and there's a few of them that actually take it west through the Bahamas towards the direction of Florida. That's not to say it's going to hit Florida, but the model trend is beginning to shift a little bit, so we're going to have to pay close attention to that. This is definitely, I mentioned that in the last few tropical updates, that it wasn't etched in stone that this was going to race out to sea. In fact, there's not that many models showing that now, so everybody needs to pay close attention to what's happening with Tomas. Alright, let's get to our images. Here's what happened on Saturday morning. The system moved through the southern Windward Islands. There's St. Lucia, and we have St. Vincent down here, and Barbados. All three of these areas were directly impacted by Tomas, but Tomas was a Cat 1 hurricane when it was near St. Lucia, with winds around 80 to 90 miles per hour. There's some gusts around 100 in St. Lucia, and I have a link at the up above the tracking chart at Hurricane City showing aerial video of the damage from the mudslides in St. Lucia. The confirmed death toll is 5. It could go much higher in St. Lucia. And again, if you click on St. Lucia on the tracking map at Hurricane City, you can get all the zoomed in news and information out of that area. And again, this is what happened. There's a radar presentation as this passed over the southern Windward Islands. It's a very well organized system, probably the best it's looked in its entire journey. Now here are the current model runs on this system, and again, tight clustering of the models between Oviedo, Dominican Republic, and Jamaica. That seems to be where the goalpost is set up right now for Tropical Storm Tomas, which is forecast to still become a hurricane. The GFDL really cranks this thing up. The GFDL's gone wild this afternoon. It has this up near Category 5 status heading into Haiti, and I think that that's unrealistic due to the fact that the system remains a very weak tropical storm. In fact, let me show you that real quickly. The hurricane hunters have been out there. Let me zoom in on this real close and let you know what's happened the last few days. This is going out almost 40 hours. Yesterday we had 34 knot winds at the surface, and we had a 1,003 millibar system. Now when it's just northwest of the ABC Islands, 1,003 millibars, 24 knot surface winds. Then we get over here even further, and it's even weaker now, 1,006 millibars and 1,007 millibars and 15 mile an hour winds. Now it doesn't look that disorganized on satellite imagery. I'll show you that in a minute. But nevertheless, the center of circulation is very disorganized, so the GFDL might be overblowing this a little bit on the Category 5 status. But I think this could easily get up to probably Category 2 at least by the time it gets up in that area. It's interesting, if you look at this model map, I ran all the models again at tropicalatlantic.com, and basically the same as yesterday. West of Jamaica or hitting Jamaica, we have 12 potential models indicating that was going to happen. Yesterday, only 3 of them were saying that was going to happen. Haiti, 20 models yesterday indicated that Haiti was going to be hit by a hurricane. Today, it's 35 models saying Haiti is going to take a direct hit from this. Dominican Republic yesterday had 17 models saying it was going to get hit. Today it's only down to 5 models that say Dominican Republic is going to get hit. Puerto Rico, 5 models. Yesterday only a couple of models showed Puerto Rico, and the reason for that is the aviation ensemble models have gone nuts down here. they have this thing squiggling all over the Caribbean and heading in the general direction of Puerto Rico after hitting Hispaniola and Haiti. So that's something to pay attention to. The ensemble models are a pretty good indicator of a precursor of maybe what the other models are going to start showing down the road. And again, the aviation ensemble, few of the aviation ensemble models want to turn it off to the west here in the Bahamas. The UK Met also wants to turn it west, and the No Gaps model wants to turn it west out here in the Bahamas. So we're not done with this thing yet, and I would expect the National Hurricane Center by tomorrow, they may start showing a cone of error that's looks something like this right here, rather than the way it was earlier today, which is more like this, something like this, heading generally out to sea. I think that they're going to start scrapping that idea of this heading out to sea, and they might keep it lingering down here and maybe even drifting west. So people in the Bahamas are going to have to pay close attention to this, although the shear might be a little bit high at that time with the passage of that cold front. It's still going to be interesting to see what happens with this. The models are all over the place on this system, and very few are now taking it out to sea. So very interesting developments here this afternoon. Here's the basic, all the models clumped together using the HurTrack program. And if you look at the models on this update here, you can see that, again, between Jamaica, Haiti and Jamaica is the line of fire. But notice right up here north of Haiti, they all cluster together up here like they don't know what to do with it at that point. So again, that's why the Bahamas are going to have to watch this. But all eyes are on Haiti. Our current feature is Port-au-Prince, Haiti, because that is the area that was most affected by the earthquake, and I think that this area will have the worst effects of this hurricane. Even if it passes off to the west or the east, they're the most vulnerable area, so we have current feature at Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Now here is the best performing model of all the models so far, the NGX2. Now this is a no gaps GFS tracker model with additional model data thrown into it, and this model takes it into Haiti and then kind of hangs it up here. It really doesn't do anything with it, just hangs it and clings it right around the Dominican Republic and Haiti here. It doesn't really move it very much. And interestingly, the best performing model on the intensity is also the NGX I model. Again, interpolated NGX, the No Gaps GFS tracker model, is only off by 1.5 knots. So what does that say for the future? The NGXI model is indicating this is going to remain a very weak hurricane, tropical storm rather, going out 120 hours, no more than a 50 or 60 mile an hour tropical storm. So we're going to see if the NGXI is right on the forecast for this remaining a weak storm. The system that turns it the strongest is the GHMI, which is Category 3, and again I mentioned the GFDL has it up near Category 5, but this model here has been off by about 30 knots over 5 days, so it hasn't performed very well. And if we go down to the GFDL model, again, here's at 125 knots. Actually, the last run I saw it had up to 140 knots, so it's really cranking this thing up, and I think that's a little bit crazy considering the fact that this is still a very disorganized system. Although that's not to say it couldn't crank up quickly with warm sea surface temperatures. Alright, here's the water vapor loop of the Atlantic Basin, and you can see our scoop coming in the left-hand corner of the picture. And here it is. There's a low pressure area in Texas that's dipping down into the Gulf, and it's going to travel like this, and the whole flow is going to become like this. There's a high pressure out here that's going to break down, and the whole steering flow is going to turn to the northeast. Question is, this low might kick out so quickly that in 5 days from now it's going to linger the remnants of Tomas down here in the Bahamas, so we need to watch for that very closely. Now another interesting image I want to show is the visible loop of the Atlantic Basin, and I have an observer on the island of St. Lucia rather, that I don't have, Russian is his name, and he is in St. Lucia, and he told me that there's quite a bit of damage down there, and people are still very nervous about this area right here, which is a little circulation. You can see it in the lower right hand corner of the screen right here, just east of the lower windward islands. There's a circulation there, but there's very strong northwesterly wind shear over the system. That's going to increase because what's going to happen as Tomas strengthens right here, it's going to build up a little bit of a high pressure aloft, and that high pressure outflow is going to increase the wind shear over the top of this potential system out here east of the windward. So I don't think this is going to develop. Most of the models don't do anything with it, but the people in the Windward Islands are very nervous about it, and I want to let them know that so far none of the models show anything, and it should remain a very weak sheared system. All eyes are going to be on Tomas. All right, here's the wind shear, the current wind shear analysis from the GFS model. And again, you notice west winds here, 20, 30 knots all through the Caribbean. This is why this system is not developing right now. And plus, it's very close to South America down here, so it's being disrupted a little bit. But look what happens going out 48 hours from now. Notice the ridging in the Caribbean Sea, in the central Caribbean, and that's over the top of Tomas. And the wind shear increases like this, and that's why this system out here is going to get washed out more than likely. And then, of course, the wind shear increases all through the Bahamas and here, and then the system will kick off to the northeast, but behind it there's a little bit of favorable environment, and that might shift over to the east. So a lot of things could happen down the road. We just got to keep an eye on what happens with Tomas once it gets in the Bahamas. All right, here is the current wind shear analysis. Another reason why the system might not be developing that nicely right now, the high pressure should be over the top of Tomas. Instead, it's over here to the right, and that's enhancing that southwesterly wind shear. But that high is forecast to build over the top of Tomas here, and that should shield it from the wind shear. And again, 40 knots out here where that other low pressure is east of the Windward Islands. Here's the wind shear tendency map, and again, the blue dashed line from the University of Wisconsin indicates lowering wind shear right where Tomas is, and that is backing off now, so this should be finding itself in a more favorable environment in the next 24 hours. And here is the heat content, plenty of juice to work with. These are 78-degree temperatures or higher below the surface of the ocean. These orange patches in yellow, that's all heat content that can stir up when the ocean gets stirred up. It's warm air coming up to the surface, warm water rather, coming up to the surface rather than cold water, and that's fuel for hurricanes. So all indications are this should go ahead and strengthen over here, and so far it hasn't done that. All right, that's it for now. We'll be back with another update tomorrow afternoon on this situation. Again, our current feature, Port-au-Prince, Haiti. We have every intention of covering this hurricane if it affects Haiti over the weekend. We'll be covering it, bringing you radio and whatever we can from the affected areas, ham radio and all the frequencies. That's it for now. Thank you again for visiting Hurricane City.